Hey, when you join in, will you just drop a line, say hello and where you're tuning in from? I would love to know where everyone is watching from. Just another couple seconds here. Let me get this. All right. Okay, so, hey Kim, hi Linda. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping into my kitchen. Hi from NH, awesome, New Hampshire. So what am I cooking today? I am going to cook for you a Philly stuffed chicken pepper, or Philly chicken, how do I say it? A Philly cheese chicken pepper, like, you know, Philly cheesesteak, but with chicken instead. And we're going to put it in a pepper instead of on bread. It's going to be delicious. All right, and it comes together really quickly. Takes a little longer to cook, so but we'll get there. We'll get it all done. All right, well, hey, I got 9 of you in my kitchen tonight. That is fantastic. Okay, so to get started, you know, I'm not doing onions because as much as I love onions, they're full of sugar. When you cook them down, when they break down in your body, sugar, sugar, sugar. That's why they taste so good. So instead of onions, I'm using this famous thing. It's brand new to me. I've used it once before. Do y'all remember what this is? Hi, Rosemary. This is a leek. L-E-E-K. This is a leek, and it's amazing how much of this you actually use, okay? You only use the bottom part here, the white and the light green. And it tastes and smells very similar to onion, so I'm not missing anything. You don't cook with the leafy part. You can use it in stock, is what I've been told. You can use this in your soup stocks, but I'm not going to use it. So we're just going to cut this off, and we're going to use this in place of our onions, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get that started now. I'm playing around a little bit with the camera angles, so you guys will have to give me some feedback and tell me what you think, because I know some of you, I know when I'm doing it this way and I turn to do my chopping, you can't really see what I'm doing. So we're going to play around and see how this works, okay? So let's take a walk over this way. All right, so now you can see what I'm doing, but you can't see me. So you'll have to let me know what you think about that. Okay, so we're gonna get our onion, or sorry, our leek. Chop it there. Now, this has a lot of layers in it, okay? So when you go to cut this, you wanna make sure that you really rinse it out because dirt gets all up in here. Okay, so we're going to rinse this out. Rinse it out real good, okay? And like I said, this is going to take the place of your onions. All right, so what do we think about this different camera angle here so far? All right, you have to let me know what you think, guys, okay? Okay, so we're going to chop this up like you would an onion. Got a little bit of glare there. And I'm going to, okay. Now you know that all the recipes that I cook here online with you is a recipe for one. So keep that in mind as you're watching. If you're taking notes or anything, I'll post the recipe later tonight. You know I always do. But just keep in mind that everything that I'm saying right now is a recipe for one. So I'm measuring out 1/4 cup of leeks, okay? So just chop this like you do your onions. We're going to small dice it. I think that's probably a 1/4 cup. Let's see. I probably got more than a 1/4 cup here. Now, you know, measuring your things, your ingredients, is a very healthy habit. So I've got all this left over here, but I'm not going to use it, okay? Because my recipe calls for a 1/4 cup, and that's what I'm going to use. Okay. So I'm going to put that in my bowl here. Just set that aside for a moment. Okay, the next part of the recipe that we're going to get ready to cook is, or chop, is a 1/4 cup of mushrooms. Okay, because, I mean, if you don't like mushrooms on your Philly cheesesteaks and things, then you can just use 1/2 cup of the leeks. Okay, but I'm using a 1/4 cup of leeks and a 1/4 cup of mushrooms. All right, so talk to me. What has everybody been up to today? All right, so I'm just going to give these a rough chop. Now they're going to shrink up a little bit, you know, as I'm frying them in my pan. Okay, so let's see here. Is this a 1/4 cup? This is probably more than a 1/4 cup. Yeah. Okay. Put that into my other container here. Okay. So that's it for that. The other thing that we're going to go ahead and get started with, excuse me, I'm going to get down like, I feel like a waitress, you know, when you go to the restaurants, your waitress, they get down on their, they squat down at your table. Hi, Lisa. They get down on their knees and they talk to you like this. So here I am. Okay, Kim, you said you came home and you crashed. Took a happy nappy. That sounds good. Okay, so I'm going to prep my bell pepper. I'm going to cut it in half this way. And I'm going to remove this. I'm doing this now. I'm going to put it in a pot of hot water, some low boiling water, to start the cooking process. It'll just shorten the cook time. Okay. You never had these, Lisa. You will have to try it. Yes, you will. You have to try it and let me know what you think. I love your feedback. I love your guys' feedback. And hey, do me a favor. If you haven't already, will you click that share button for me? I would really appreciate it. Thanks. Okay. So I've got my pepper cut. I've removed the seeds. And I'm just going to go ahead. I've got a pot of water over here. And I'm just going to let those set in there for a little bit. Okay. So that is all the prep for the veggie portion. Let me move my cutting board. Okay, now the next part of my recipe is the chicken, the star of the dish, right? So I'm going to be using 5 ounces of chicken. This is the raw weight, 5 ounces of raw weight. When it cooks down, it's going to be about 4 ounces, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to slice this up thin. Okay, because you know, Philly cheesesteaks, the meat is thin. It also will make it cook faster. So I'm going to slice these thin, and then I'm going to slice them into thinner strips so that so it feels like I've got more than I do. So that's what I'm going to do. Hey Melissa, thanks for popping in. Okay, so now I've got these strips here and I'm going to cut them into smaller strips. So see, now I have little, kind of like stir fry strips. All right. Hey Rachel, thanks for popping in. I'm so happy to have you guys in my kitchen with me today. I love doing this for you. It's a lot of fun, especially when we get some conversations going. Hey Jeannie, you made it. Hi. gonna try this? Who's gonna make this for dinner tomorrow? You're sitting in your car at Costco, Jeannie. Okay, almost done. All right, I need something to talk about, guys. Oh, you know what? I'll tell you a story. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm prepping things. I'm, you know, clearing my kitchen counter off and getting my pot of water on so that the water is warm and hot and ready for when I start. And I'm like smelling something. Like, what am I smelling? It smells like something's burning, and I just got water on the stovetop. So what happened? I'll tell you. Okay, I got my burners mixed up, and I had my oven mitt. I had my oven mitt on the burner, and I burnt my oven mitt. I was cooking my oven mitt instead of boiling my water. That's what happened. Okay, so now we're going to, let's see here. Let me look at some of these comments here real quick. Oh, well, I'm glad you stopped for a moment, Jeannie, to tune in. Yes, Rachel, you'll have to try this if everybody loves bell peppers. I mean, if you don't love bell peppers, then, you know, you probably won't try it, but why don't you love bell peppers? I mean, come on. I'm talking to my husband here because he don't love bell peppers. Okay, so I've turned my pan on here. It's just getting started. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some olive oil. And I love using these little cups because the recipe is 1 teaspoon of olive oil, okay? But now we're going to saute the leeks first. Then we're going to add in the mushrooms. Let those get a head start on cooking. And then we're going to add in the chicken. And I feel like if I put all my oil in the pan right away, and since I'm only using a little bit, then all the oil that I put in there gets soaked up by the first ingredient. So I measure out my allotted oil, I put it in a little container, and then I add as needed. All right, so 1 teaspoon of olive oil into my container. Hold on, I gotta wash my hands. I touched that oven mitt and some of the singe rubbed off onto my hands here. I need to wash my hands anyway because I just cut that chicken. Okay. Alrighty. Get my pan hot here. Now, I don't know. I think I can probably bring you back up here, huh? And then point you down towards the stove so you can see what I'm doing. Let's try that. There we go. Okay. We all good here? So we're gonna get this warming up. You know, I like to use one of these little silicone brushes, and I just brush a little bit of oil in there. Sometimes I don't even end up needing all the oil that I put in here. Okay, so I'm going to start with the leeks. Okay, and we're just going to get that sauteing. Just get that sauteing a little bit. So, hey Paula, thanks for stopping in. I am making, for those of you who just popped in and didn't see the intro, I'm making Philly, rhymes with chili. I'm making Philly cheese chicken peppers. Philly chicken cheese stuffed pepper. I don't know. It's a take on a Philly cheese steak. So that's what I'm doing. We're going to put it in a pepper with this filling. And the filling is the leeks, the mushrooms, the chicken, a little bit of seasoning, and I'm also going to be using balsamic vinegar. That really adds a nice flavor to it. Then we're going to put that into the pepper and we're going to bake it. And then when it's like baked, we'll take it out, put a little bit of provolone on top, put it back in and let that bubble and brown and Tell you what, I made this. It tastes good. Yes, it does. All right, so still just cook. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I need to take out those peppers. I don't want them to cook too much. They've been in there. See? They've been in there a while now. Take those out. Turn that off. Okay. You don't want to forget about your peppers, people, because if you forget about your peppers, then they're going to fall apart in the oven when you're cooking everything else. And you don't want to do that. Okay, so I got those leeks done, and now I'm going to add a little bit more of my oil. Let's kind of move those off to the side. Put a little bit more oil in there. I'm going to add my mushrooms. Okay, and we're going to let that cook down a little bit. Mushrooms can sometimes, mushrooms can sometimes take a little bit, so need to give them a little bit of a chance here to get caught up with those leeks. Okay, so we'll just let that sit there. It can cook on itself, on its own. So I'm speaking your food language, Patty. Good. This is very yummy. I love this. It's super easy. Not very many ingredients, very healthy, very little oil. Did I weigh the peppers? Patty, no, I did not. I did not weigh the peppers. I can do that for you now, though. Let's go ahead and do that. How much are these peppers in weight? Peppers are going to vary depending on size. These peppers weigh 6 5/8 ounces, so about 6.5 ounces. So I'm assuming that if I were to cut those up, I'm making an assumption here, I'm assuming that if I were to cut those up and measure them, I would have about a cup, maybe just a little bit more. I would like to substitute the minis, the minis. Oh, the mushrooms? I'm not sure what you meant there, Patty. You would like to substitute what? You can totally customize this recipe. Like I said, if you don't like mushrooms, you can use more leeks. If you don't like leeks, you can use more mushrooms. If you don't like either, you can just fill it with chicken. It's fine. The mini peppers. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can make little tiny mini peppers. They would be cute. Those would be cute. Okay. So I've got these mushrooms well on their way. So now I'm going to add my chicken. I'm going to move all that to the side. I'm also going to move my pan a little bit off the heat just to slow down the cooking process of those mushrooms. Adding some more oil. Look at all this oil I still have. This was just 1 teaspoon, people. You know how often I used to just pour the oil? I used to, just grab my oil and just pour it in without measuring. Oh my goodness, so many calories right there that could have been saved get this going. Spread this out a little bit. Okay, the other part of this recipe that brings it together is some garlic, okay? I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of garlic. And I'm going to add this to my oil. And then I'm going to add I'm going to add this in just a little bit to help finish flavoring that chicken and the mushrooms. So we're just going to cook this till the chicken is no longer pink. And I've got my veggies off to the side there. I'm going to turn this, get my heat down a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to incorporate all of that together. I'm going to add my garlic and my oil. All right, I went ahead and I used the rest of the oil. Okay, so we got all that in there. And then I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. The recipe is an 1/8 teaspoon salt and an 1/8 teaspoon pepper. And once you know it, I can't find my cute little 1/8 teaspoon. So I'm going to eyeball this with my 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to put just half in there. And salt. Stir that up. Okay, and then a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar. And put that right on top there. They should make smell-o-vision. I mean, I really think they should make smell-o-vision. This smells amazing. Let me tell you. Okay? I'm going to turn that off, take it off the heat because that is done. And I'm going to excuse myself for half a second here. I left my baker for the peppers over there. Hold on. Also, I'm getting my cheese. Okay. I'm back. All right, now, because I knew this took, you're going to cook it in the oven for about 30 minutes. So I put one in the oven already, and it just needs some cheese. So here it is. I've just taken it out. I've uncovered it. You want to, once you stuff your peppers, once you stuff your once you stuff your peppers and you put them in your baker, you're going to cover it tightly with tin foil. Put it in the oven at 350 for about 30 to 35 minutes. And this is what it looks like. Oh my goodness, look at that. But we're not done yet. No, we're not. Okay, I'm going to put this on my scale, and I'm going to top it with 1 1/3 ounces of provolone. I'm using this thin sliced provolone, and it's about 3.5 to 4 slices will make up a 1 1/3 ounce. So let me go ahead and let's do this. And then we're going to put this back. We're going to put this back in the oven and let this brown. I'm going to turn the broiler on now. Okay, now. I'm awful at broiling things. I'm awful at, when I make like a green bean casserole, and you know the French fried onions that you put on top of it? Yeah, I always burn those. And I have to scrape them off and put fresh ones on, and then try again and keep constant vigil because I burn it. But I do know that the cheese takes a little bit longer to reach that burning point. Okay, so let's go back to the counter and we'll fill these other peppers up. All right. So what does everybody think so far? Who's going to make this? Okay, so I'm going to put my peppers here. Can you see this? Turn it down. Okay. Got my peppers. Got my filling. Let me just clear some space here. Got a mess. All right, so tell me, those of you who watch normally, do you like this change of camera angle when I'm doing the things on the counter better than when it's up on the stand? Let me know what you think. So I know you can see everything, but now you're only seeing my belly. All right, so we're gonna fill this up with our chicken and leeks and mushrooms. All right, if you haven't shared my video yet, will you hit that share button, please? I would really appreciate it. Thank you. If you're watching on the replay, please click share too. Oh my goodness, guys, does this look amazing already? So like if you didn't want cheese on it, you know, you could just eat it, you know, bake it here from here and then eat it. But I mean, what's a Philly cheesesteak without cheese? Right? Okay. So look at there. This is one for my clients and everybody else on Plan With Me. This is a complete lean and green. Okay. This is your 3 veggies, your lean, 3 condiments. Actually, it's 2 3/4 condiments. 1 healthy fat. Yeah, that's right, right? 3 greens, a lean, 3 condiments, and a healthy fat. All right, so you're gonna seal that tightly. Now, if you didn't want to boil your peppers beforehand, then my suggestion is when you do this part, before you cover it up, go ahead and put a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan so that your peppers don't dry out, so they can have something to steam with. But since my peppers are already sort of waterlogged, if you will, I'm not going to add any water to it. Oh, Gwen! Thank you, Gwen! I forgot about the broiler! Oh my gosh! Oh, good gravy! But it was perfect timing! It was perfect timing, actually, so look at that! Gwen, you saved my dinner. Thank you so much for being mindful where I wasn't. Okay, so dinner's done. Look at that. That is so yummy. Smells delicious. I'm thinking it's probably really, really, really too hot to take a bite, but I'll cut into it. I'll cut into it. I'm gonna turn my oven off. Oh Oh, Gwen, thank you. Okay. Where's my, here they are. All right. You know what, let me get a picture first, you know. Got to get a picture for the recipe when I post it. Okay. Here we go. Let's take a look. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. I don't know if it might be too hot to actually take a bite. Let's see here. Jeannie says, this one is a winner, winner chicken dinner. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I gave you all a little bit of entertainment this evening with that near miss with the broiler. Yes. You know, I told you ahead of time. I gave a disclaimer. I did. I said I might burn it, and I nearly did. All right. Hey, everybody just joining in. I've just finished my meal. I'm going to take this bite, see how it tastes, which I know it tastes delicious, but please hit that share button for me. Click like. Tell me where you're watching from. I really would appreciate it. This is my version of a Philly cheesesteak, but I made it with chicken and I made it in a pepper. That's yummy. All right, guys. That's all I got for you tonight. Does anybody have any questions before we say goodbye? Thank you, Jeannie. You have a great night too. Lisa, it is very yummy. Thank you. All right. Hey, Maggie, I just finished, girlfriend. You'll have to go back and watch the replay. I made this. I'll show you what I made. This is my take on a Philly cheesesteak, but I made it with chicken and I put it in a pepper instead of on a bun. So go back and watch the replay. All those watching replay, please click share and like. I'd appreciate it. And I will see you all next weekend. All right? Bye.